morning.
How are we feeling?
Very fine, yes.
Doc, you have very good skin.
Okay, thank you.
You look like you drink a lot of water.
Yes.
Aha.
Very important.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you sipping throughout the day, or are you taking big jugs full of water at different times?
So I have a 3-liter, should I call it a jug or a bottle that I tend to keep on me.
Okay.
So let's say I sip throughout the day, yes.
All right, lovely. And you're averaging what, about 3 liters a day?
About 3 liters a day, yes.
How many times do you have to go to the bathroom? You're going up and down, or not so much?
Not so much, really. I think after a while, your body perhaps adjusts because you also have work, and that sometimes takes your mind off it, yes. But a few times during the day, yes.
Very important. I was going to ask about something else, but let me not turn this into a consulting room, okay? We have other matters to discuss. We're talking about our young ones, again, as we get ready for the very iconic 3FM Baby Fair. Now, Doc, before I get into our talking points of the morning, we were speaking with the Ghana Met this morning, and they're telling us the weather is getting even cooler and cooler, and it will be getting even cooler and cooler up until August. So we're seeing lows of about 18 degrees Celsius, 19 degrees Celsius. Depending on where you're from, you might think, oh, that's nothing. 19 degrees Celsius is warm enough, but this is Ghana winter. What advice do you have for parents and the young ones? Anything in particular they should be thinking about in this weather?
Okay, maybe before I start off, let me say good morning to everyone. I want to say thank you also to 3FM and Pediatric Society of Ghana, which I'm a member of, for giving me this platform. Certainly the months we are in now, weather is much, much cooler than we were in previously. So we'd always say that when it comes to the little ones, we make sure that we layer them up, you cover them up. So make sure that you put them in more warmer clothing than you would. If you are going out, for example, out of the home, or they're going to school, make sure you have, say, a raincoat in their bag, or even an umbrella, because sometimes during the day, least expected, then the rain starts to come down. Also make sure that their footwear also is one that is a bit firmer, that can grip better. Sometimes we tend to forget these, but certainly as we have more rainfall, we have lots of wet puddles, the floor is slippery, and sometimes they can actually slip and then they can fall. And then also make sure that, say, for example, in the evenings when they're going to bed, some of us, we like to have the air conditioners on, the fans on, and we don't, bundle them up and cover them up too well. Then they tend to, we already know that they are prone to all these coughs and colds. Now, when the weather is also cold, it makes them at an even greater risk. And keeping the fans and the air conditioners on, the temperature then drops so much. Sometimes then their chest gets a bit tighter, the cough gets a little worse. So all these things we have to take a look at during these times, yes.
Absolutely. So let's wrap up warm, not just ourselves, but of course the little ones. Let's get into the topic of vaccination and immunization. Is it something that even in 2025 you're still having to compel parents to do, to convince them to do?
Yes. I mean, if we had fully achieved everything, I'd say that most of these vaccine-preventable diseases, we wouldn't even have to talk about them because they would have been eradicated. But we still have these coming up, so we still have to talk about it. We can't overemphasize it. Over the years, as technology has increased, some people now feel they have a personal right not to vaccinate their child. That as it may, because of the numerous benefits that we get out of vaccination, and then ultimately immunization, which is the outcome we want from that, we still have to talk about it and urge people about the importance of getting their children vaccinated.
What are some of the common myths that you hear when it comes to vaccination, especially of children?
So one thing is, certainly because these vaccines, some of them are, let me say, the germs that have been weakened or made inactive, and we give to you so that the soldiers in your body, what we will call the immune system, is able to quickly fight it and then have a memory, so that later on, when they meet the actual bug in it with its full strength, the body is able to quickly fight that infection. So once we give you that weakened form, the children tend to, they get a little warm, warm, they feel a little unwell. Yes, sometimes at the site we give the vaccine gets a bit red. And some parents feel, well, my child was fine this morning. I went to give this child this injection of sorts, not because she was unwell. And now suddenly the child is a little under the weather.
Right.
So sometimes that prevents some parents from wanting to go and vaccinate their children at all. Then other times, there are certain myths out there as well. People think that certain, let me say, neurodevelopmental issues they think are linked to vaccines. Quite an amount of research has been put into that, and there is no link as of now that we have found. So the benefits far outweigh any thought process or myth that is out there. Remember, vaccines help you, the individual, fight against the infection, like I mentioned, when you actually meet it. And it helps everybody together. It pulls us all together if we are all vaccinated, something we like to call herd immunity. So if we all get vaccinated, then that germ or that bug is not even able to stay amongst us. So those amongst us who maybe have less of a strong immune system also get protected.
Right.
So it doesn't just help you, the individual, but all of us getting vaccinated together, then it helps all of us together as a whole. Yes.
Very important. I just remembered even when I took the COVID vaccine, felt a little unwell right after and towards the afternoon and the evening, but by the next day or the day after, I was fine.
You'll be fine, yes.
Okay.
It's just an acute response of the body to it meeting something new in its system, but then it will pick up and then you'll be fine.
And I'm sure you also hear some of the more ridiculous claims. People say they'll embed a chip inside you and all kinds of things. That's certainly not the case, Doctor.
Certainly not the case, no.
Okay,
it's not.
you're fine. Nobody is going to implant anything into your body or your children's bodies. Let's also talk about promoting eating healthy healthy eating habits in children.
Okay.
We know now that there are a lot more fast food joints, a lot more processed food than I remember even as a child. We have some of the biggest, restaurant chains coming into Africa, Ghana specifically. How do we encourage young ones who are now growing up on all of these foods to opt for some better options and not always be eating the junk food? The parents say, the kids are crying. If I don't take them to go and buy fried chicken, they won't give me peace. And that's the reason why I'm doing that. Is it because we're not making our own food delicious? I grew up on cocoa and say, you couldn't tell me anything. Gary Photo, Abom. But these days, the kids don't want to hear it. They want fried chicken. They want waffles. What's going on?
Okay, so let me start by saying this, that every baby that is born blank. And we are the ones that tend to program. Certainly what they see on the screens and what we also show them. So I always say the first point for me is leadership by example. You, the parent, can't be munching on a bucket of fried chicken.
Table.
You're buying this here and buying that there, slurping this and, drinking that soda pop. But then when it comes to the child and it tells him, no, you must eat a balanced diet. So it starts with us. It starts with the parents. Right. What do we start them off with when they are young? When we start after our exclusive breastfeeding and we start complementary feeds, what are you giving that child? Are you starting the child off on our greens, like you mentioned, your boom and other things? Is that what you are introducing? Or from a very tender age at toddler stage, you are going there to buy a bucket of fried chicken, you are giving ice creams and that is you now coding the blueprint for that child. So one, it starts with us, the parents. We cannot take ourselves out of the equation. Then the next point I'd say is when they start picking up toddler stage, take them along with you when you go shopping. Show them this. Okay, so this is watermelon, pick this one. What color is this? Is green. Okay, we've picked a green fruit, go and pick a yellow one. He goes for a banana or something. So you make it fun so that it's not just I've gone out there, I've bought it, but they are part of you when it comes to the shopping process. Right. And children want to feel included. Then the third point I'd say is when it comes to the meal time itself. When we sit down, it should be a time that is engaging, family time. It should be warm. No screens, including ourselves as parents. You are in there, you want to have a quick meal because you're on on your TikTok or whatever, you want to finish or you go back to work. But if that time is wholesome, then they enjoy that time. You tell them, okay, if you eat 1 spoon of this, I'll have 1 spoon of that. So no screens for them and certainly no screens for us. If they are older, you can talk about how the day went so that it's a time when they don't see as, okay, I just want to be on my screen, I'll eat a little and then I'll jump off. So then one starts with us involve them in the process. And then as they get older, now even in the kindergartens, they're teaching them about food groups. So now they know about carbohydrates, and certainly as they go older. So then you tell them about, okay, this food group, that food group. And even though I know as parents we tend to be pressed with time from work and others, and if you are making the meal for the child, you can also try to be sometimes a bit creative. Okay. You have all these cookie cutters or whatever. You can cut the fruits in, different shapes. It just makes it more exciting for them, yes. And let them experience different textures as well. When it comes to our local foods, our fruits and others, we have so many different types.
That's
so
right.
If the child doesn't like, for example, say banana, you don't say, oh, I tried banana, he didn't like it, or pineapple. Try something else. Try the watermelon, try the pawpaw. If they won't take it raw, you can actually make it into a puree and incorporate it in something else. So I think putting some of these measures in place is helpful. We understand that the times are fast.
That's
and these
right.
fast foods are chasing after us to make it convenient. However, if we don't find a way, you realize that now quite a number of our children now are growing up and entering into this lifestyle modified diseases, this obesity. We have little children now with hypertension and other things.
What do the stats look on the medical front? Are you seeing, you've mentioned that the young ones are getting even bigger than we were. That's the fact.
That's the fact, yes, because they are just like us with this sedentary lifestyle. Now it's all about the screen, and then I have this very processed meal with me. Snacks are good for children, yes, but let the snacks be healthy. You can have fruits as snacks, carrots as sticks for snacks. You can, change it up a little bit, yes, but certainly, like you said, the numbers are increasing. More obese children, more children with, like I said, these diseases, even hypertension. Yes,
really?
Definitely.
What are some of the younger ages that you're seeing afflicted with hypertension?
So, as low as, say, 9 years. So let me say this. So we do have the hypertension being secondary. So sometimes the child will already have an underlying condition.
Okay.
Yes, so that's there. But the essential type, the type that is not due to any underlying disease, certainly we see it in our preteens and then even in our adolescents now. So from 10 ongoing, you see them coming up with all these things, yes.
That's very scary.
Very.
This is the future of the country that we're talking about. So I think we all need to sit up and really take a critical look at what we are eating ourselves and also what we're feeding to our children. But time check, some 23 minutes past the hour of 9. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We're speaking with Dr. Benedicta Antwi. She's telling us some great information, parents, that you can put into action today. I really liked the what you said about taking the kids along when you go to the shops, to the market, so that they are an active part of the food process. But to conclude on this discussion, what key things, and I don't know if that's too broad, but what key things should parents be looking out for? Parents that want their kids to grow up healthy, active, and happy when it comes to healthcare screenings and any tests that they should be running throughout the year. What should they be looking out for?
Okay, so in terms of screening tests that they should do, I'd say that maybe there are a few basic ones. So something like, say, for example, sickle cell, you should be able to have an idea what the genotype of your children are, their blood group, you should be able to have an idea.
Is that easy to test?
These are very simple, yes. If you go to any health center.
I'm ashamed to say I don't know the genotype.
So it's important to know.
Okay.
It's important to know early enough. So, for example, as a child grows, becomes a teenager, moves into university, she knows her genotype. Say, for example, she's AS genotype. She knows that if she has a relationship, she needs to find out the genotype about her partner, because it can have its effects when it comes to childbearing at that point. So knowing your blood group, knowing your genotype, I think these are some basic things we should know. And then routinely just, maybe taking the child in for a wellness check. It's also fair to know the child's blood level, that what we call the hemoglobin. Yes, any of these is fine. Screening of eyesight, I think, is also important.
Okay.
Yes, so you want to go in, not because the child has or is complaining, but just to have an idea. And even dental screening is also extremely important.
Right.
And we tend to miss out on some of these things. As long as they are alive and well, they go to school, they're fine. But check up on their teeth, check up on their eyes. Like I said, from time to time, just a general screening. Know their blood groups, know their sickling genotype. time. I think these are some of the things that we can do. And also always good hand hygiene. Aside from going to hospital, make sure for a bit of the toddler stage, older ones, you can have this little bottle of hand sanitizer they take to school with them, so that they always, use it on their hands. Tell them about hand washing. Yes. And I always say that children, you can tell them 1,000,001 things, but they will look at what you are doing and they will mimic. So always make sure that you also stay consistent as you're telling them to do this. You're eating, your hand hygiene and everything else. Make sure you are also doing it, because they tend to mirror a lot of what we do. Yes.
Absolutely. And Doc, will you be with us at some point during the baby fair? I'm sure
certainly
you'll be on the grounds. What can we expect? Can parents come up and get some tidbits from you all?
Certainly. We'll be there. So tidbit questions, they can get their little notebooks, write down their questions, and yes, when they come, we'll certainly be there to assist. Yes.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that. It is Baby Fair 3.0 come Friday, the 11th of July. We're going all the way through up until the 13th of July. That's on Sunday. So from Friday to Sunday, it's all things baby. It's all things mother care, father care. All the dads are also very much welcome. Are the daddies getting involved in the health issues, or is it always mommy that brings the young ones to the hospitals?
Well, I think they're getting better. Yes. I think we have to give them their flowers. Some are very invested, right from antenatal all through. Some actually bring their kids for the vaccinations. Is there room for improvements? As always, there is always room. But I think, yes, that they're getting better.
Absolutely. Doc, thank you so much for your time this morning. This was a very fruitful conversation. And we look forward to seeing more of you, not just at the baby fair, but definitely in studio. I think today was wonderful. This morning was wonderful. So thank you so much. 28 after 9. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We go on a quick break. When we come back, there's more.
Parents, mark your calendars. Is the 3FM Baby Fair happening live on the 11th to the 13th of